Good evening and welcome to the Village of Westmont. I'd like to convene the meeting, the committee, the whole meeting for June 28th, 2012, and call upon our clerk to please take the roll call.
Mayor Ron.
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Emery.
Here.
Trustee Fleming.
Here.
Trustee Klebanow.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here.
Trustee Scott.
Here.
Trustee Seneca.
Here.
Public Works Director and Assistant Manager May.
Here.
Attorney Zemanek.
Here.
Deputy Police Chief Gunther.
Here.
And Deputy Liquor Commissioner. I'm sorry, he's here as the
Also here.
Acting Community Development Director Malik. Finance Director Parker.
Here.
Fire Chief Weiss.
Here.
And Police Chief Mulhern.
And the village manager is not here this evening because he's attending a conference.
Yep.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Open forum. There are no open forum requests before us this evening. Moving along, reports. The only thing I have to report is that on Monday evening, we will be with our police chief's assistants swearing in 2 new police officers, 1 male and 1 female.
Great.
So that will be on our agenda for Monday evening. And that is all that I have at this time. Next, our village clerk, Virginia Simsky.
I just want to compliment Tom and everybody for coming out for squad night at Cruisin' Nights. It was a great time. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. It's always fun. And then I think we all in here tonight owe a big thanks to our facilities maintenance worker, Randy Tucho. Tucho, is that how you say? He's been here all afternoon working, keeping the coils cooled down on the air conditioner so that it didn't work itself into a frenzy in this heat and humidity. Actually, it was the humidity, he said, that caused. So he's done a great job. And again,
A yeoman's job.
A yeoman's job. And a reminder again, I reminded everybody the last meeting, in this extreme heat, please check on any elderly neighbors you have, just to make, or handicapped that might need help. So, and that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Village Attorney John Zemanek.
I've got nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Our acting village manager,
Nothing, thank you.
Steve May. Trustee items, I'd like to start out with Trustee Scott.
Nothing this evening, sir.
Thank you. And Trustee Seneca.
I will have
Changed
we
his
have
mind.
something exactly. We have an economic development meeting
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you
next
said I
Wednesday.
had nothing.
I did say nothing, but Trustee Seneca reminded me. We have
Oh,
an
okay.
economic development meeting, 9 o'clock next Wednesday morning.
Tuesday.
Tuesday morning? It was close.
It's like my husband.
Both named Bob?
Yeah.
On July 3rd, right?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow.
Just a couple of things. I was talking with Larry McIntyre from the Westmont Special Events Committee. They did get a permit to put their signs up. You'll see the signs for the Taste of Westmont and for the Fresh Market signs. I appreciate anybody who would like to put their sign up. They're welcome to call the special events for a sign. But I did see a couple of their signs were placed on the parkway and told them they couldn't be in the parkway. So if you find it, just call special events and they'll get the signs moved. And ask anybody putting a sign up to please keep it on their property, and I'd appreciate it. And other than that, I just want everybody to have a very happy and safe 4th of July at Tye Park. I'll see you there for the fireworks. And that's all I have. Thank you.
If it's not, I've noticed on the news tonight that it's so hot and dry that some of these villages are actually canceling their fireworks because they're afraid if they have their fireworks, they might set the whole town on fire.
How are we doing?
Well, we can ask our fire chief that, but I think we're okay in that respect.
He's coming up.
There's soaker hoses out at Ty Warner as we speak. We have been networking and reaching out to the Park District and Oak Brook Hills Hotel, our fire marshal, Public Works, and pre-planning to do some wedding up there in the area. We're going to have firemen back on reserve apparatus that will be at the launch area, and we will have fire personnel as spotters in the drop area. So we have a plan in place, and we'll be able to move forward with fireworks.
Very good.
Thanks.
Yes.
Hate to miss that. Trustee Fleming.
Actually, the only thing I have tonight is to say that we have a Public Works Committee meeting Tuesday, July 10th at 6 o'clock at the Water Department. So public's invited to that. And to wish everyone a happy 4th. And just, as everyone else has said, check on your neighbors, elderly, parents, whatever. Because this heat, and especially your pets, don't let your pets stay outside too long. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Trustee Emery.
I was very pleased to see what a success squad car / cruising nights was, along with the market, and there was such a great turnout. I saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen out on the sidewalk since like holidays, and so that was really good. You throw a good party, Tom. And congratulations to my friend Jan Barnett on her recent engagement to a gentleman she's known for 42 years that used to play in her brother's band. And if you see her, she'll explain to you that when she was a kid, this guy used to make her rings out of his guitar strings, so the engagement ring looks like it was made out of gold guitar strings with a nice little rock on it. So congratulations to Jan.
Oh, creative.
Good.
That's all I have.
She's an awesome
Thank
lady.
you. I think it would be most appropriate this time if we asked Chief Mulgren to come up and just explain to us the brains behind Squad Night and give that young lady the credit that she deserves for putting all that together.
Hopefully she's at home watching tonight.
Hope so.
Mayor, I believe we're talking about the same person. That's Dawn King. Volunteer, when you say volunteer, you look up volunteer in the dictionary and it should be Dawn's picture. Squad Car Night is a collaboration of everybody doing a lot of hard work, sending out invites and everything like that, but I can tell you that Dawn wanted to make this the best one ever, and she did. I received several comments from the public that night on how many activities there were for the kids, how many kids were there. We had one resident come up to the mayor and I at the end of the night saying that, you know, she moved here 3 years ago and that this was one of the best events she's ever attended, and that she asked that Westmont, please, it's a big city but still has that small town feel, and please continue that, and we promised we would. With Dawn, though, she was there for the last 2 weeks, every night, and then I always say every night, I mean Saturdays and Sundays, in our training room, putting bags of candies together, putting baskets together, making care of the raffles, making sure there's enough for the kids. At one point, she scared me when she said, she goes, where are we going to put the helicopter? And I looked at her, and she wasn't joking. She had a contact from a medical helicopter that was actually going to be able to fly in and land. And that's why I had to finally tell her no. I don't say no to her very often, but that was it. But Dawn King, from the bottom of our heart and all our hearts, she gave of her time for this. And she was in last night getting ready for the Taste of Westmont and the volunteer booth for the Taste of Westmont. So that'll be another success. So without her, yes, it was easy. She made my job easy, but without her, it would not have been the success that it was.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Trustee Nero.
I just would like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July, and I'll see everybody at the fireworks as well. Should be a lot of fun.
Okay. Moving right along, public hearing.
Hey, Sue, she got interrupted and never got to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I do just want to quickly thank Randy for making sure we're nice and cool. I guess a couple hours ago, it was quite warm in this room, so thanks to Randy. And I really wanted to congratulate Ron Gunter, our Park District Director. He was elected for the 2nd consecutive year as our Lions Club president. He does a phenomenal job, and kudos to him, and he just really is a wonderful president for our club. And sorry I missed Squad Car Night, but I heard it was absolutely fabulous. I actually got phone calls that night from there, so great. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Oh,
I do have one
Thank you.
thing real fast. I
We just
forgot
keep
to announce, and that's Then our little Alicia from the Finance Department, congratulations to her on the birth of her baby boy.
Nathan.
Friday, Nathan.
Oh,
Yes. So I forgot that, and I meant to, because she started out in the clerk's office, so she's very special to us. So,
Very good, thank you. On Monday night, we'll have our official public hearing regarding the 2012-13 appropriation ordinance. Board to take the following actions for the 2012-13 appropriation ordinance, and to consider approving an ordinance adopting the fiscal year 2012-2013 appropriation ordinance. And that, all of that information is available for review in the clerk's office, should anyone be interested in doing so. Moving right along, consent agenda. This is our first time that we've had items on the board voted to approve a consent agenda. So listed are the things that,
I do have a question on the consent agenda. I was speaking with the attorney, he said I don't have to ask it to be removed, just to ask a question. So since this is on the consent, the purchase orders, Spencer, we have a purchase order for $50,000 from the Westmont Park District. On the agreement with the Park District, it's going to be paid out in 4 payments. Are we doing one bulk amount, or are we doing as the ordinance that we approved?
As with many items, we're approving the purchase order for the entire amount. We'll actually pay them out as indicated in the
Right,
contract.
Okay.
this is just to encumber the total contract amount.
Right, but I'm wondering, on the purchase order then, could you indicate that so that that's covered for whether we see it or whether a person comes in to see it, that it's not a lump sum, that it's going to be made out in special, payout, so that we know, because the first one I think is in August, so you're not going to do their first payment until August, I presume, according to the finance ordinance. I mean, according to the ordinance that we agreed on. So, yeah, if you could just make notations on there, and then I wouldn't have to bother you on that.
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I had. Thank you.
If I may add to that, there's 2 other purchase orders that are done on a similar way. Mead Electric, Westmont Park District, and Baxter Women are the open purchase orders for contracts that you previously approved. And they'll be making partial payouts as the work proceeds.
Okay, I didn't pay attention on those if they, because I didn't have the ordinance in front, but were they indicated on the purchase order that they're
No,
payouts?
we can start
Yeah.
doing that from now on.
I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's all I have. Thank you.
Steve, there was a question last week regarding some of the landscaping material and weeds going down into the fire station by that long walk. Has anything been
Yes,
done with that?
it was, in fact, not originally included. They did go and take a look at it and said they would handle it, and I believe it's been addressed already. And that will be a regular stop for the Park District on their maintenance of all our buildings.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Any other questions on the consent agenda?
Nope.
Attorney has a comment. Yes. Okay. Is there anyone here regarding the coffee shop this evening? If you'll notice on the agenda, that is not on our agenda for this evening, so it will not be discussed this evening. Thank you, and sorry that you had to come in.
That was postponed, I believe, not to a date certain, but indefinitely, and I believe Shannon Malik from staff will be in touch with you about when it will be next on the agenda and when you can appear in front of the board and present this. I thought that was communicated.
Big participation. We love being here. Thank you. We're here to hear about the person. So. Thank you all. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, may I ask, on this consent agenda, because people may not have an agenda in front of them, do we just not read the items that are even on the agenda? You don't let the public know what's even on the agenda, or
No.
should they at least be listed?
No.
to-
Standard practice in most communities is you don't go through and list the items. The board obviously is free to make its own procedures, but, they're pretty routine items. It's purchase items, it's finance ordinance, it's some other things, so,
Approval of minutes.
yeah, that would be up to the board as a whole.
Well, you said this was a discussion night, that's why I didn't know if they would be read and just not read on Monday, so, okay.
Thank you. New business. Variance request. 823 South Wilmette. Board to consider an ordinance granting a zoning code variance request from Mark Provost to allow lot coverage greater than 35% maximum allowed. The petitioner here,
Yes, I am.
and you are Mark Provost?
My name is Mark Provost, yes.
Okay.
We purchased the house on at 823 South Wilmette last year for my son. He's a disabled adult, has mobility issues. He suffered a traumatic brain injury about 3-4 years ago. The house is handicapped accessible inside. One of the deficiencies in the property is that the back patio is small and is sloped, as well as the backyard. So we engaged a landscape architect earlier this year to put in a patio on the back. We came in and talked to Jill and Kim to discuss our plans ahead of time. And basically that's when we found out about the amount of coverage. I guess the property right now is at about 46% covered with the asphalt and the existing structure. So after working out some plans with them and going through some iterations on it, what we've come up with is that we're going to remove about 1,000 square foot of concrete and pavement and end up putting in about an 800 square foot paver patio in the back.
Okay.
So it reduces the number, I think, the ballpark numbers we had from the 46% down to about 43%.
Questions from board members?
Just as usual, the ordinance does require that the patio be constructed in accordance with the plans submitted in conjunction with this request, and that certain existing improvements, and we specified the shed, portion of the driveway, and a pedestrian walkway be removed to get it to 43%. So that is in writing, and just to make you aware of that.
Yep, that is the plan. We've already talked to the back neighbor. He's very happy with the idea that oversized shed is going, as are we. And that is in the plans, and we've already started the paperwork for the permit. So assuming everything goes through here, that is our intent.
You gave us a lot of information. It was very clear. Thank you. That's why we don't have any questions.
All righty. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming in, and you'll be on our agenda
Thank you.
for Monday evening.
All righty.
Thank you. Final plat request, Greenscape Homes. Board to consider an ordinance approving a final plat of subdivision request from Greenscape Homes for Cathari subdivision at 215 West 59. Yes.
Thank you. This evening, we have Keith Newman from Greenscape with us to discuss the final plat approval. It's really just a formality at this point. The final engineering has been approved. The board approved of the subdivision back in December. And he's here to answer any questions.
Questions? Hearing no questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Coming in. Next one. Maintenance bond, Greenleaf subdivision. Board to consider an ordinance approving a request from Stephen Gregory of Gregory Property and Development Group Incorporated to decrease maintenance bond for the Greenleaf subdivision at 443 Greenleaf Court.
Good evening, Mayor Ron, village trustees, village staff. My name is Stephen Gregory with the Gregory Property and Development Group. I'm actually here on behalf of Cole Taylor Bank. Cole Taylor Bank had issued the original letter of credit for the Greenleaf subdivision that secured the required public improvements. And we are here to formally request that the board approve a reduction in the usual and customary amount of the required maintenance bond to an amount of $30,000. And I have been working with the community development staff for quite some time, and what we've attempted to do in this is address the village's goal to complete the remaining public improvements, and also to, on behalf of the bank, provide some type of incentive whereby it makes some economical sense to for them to essentially fund the remaining improvements that are required. Also provide kind of a date certain when all this can be completed and wrapped up. And we feel, at least I feel, in working with staff, that we've kind of identified a win-win situation. The community development staff with the various other village departments had completed a punch list, if you will, of remaining required public improvements. They range from the final layer of asphalt to completing some common area landscaping. There's some miscellaneous repairs, a couple of parkway trees that are in need of replacement. And then the naturalized detention basin, I have engaged a wetland specialist, native landscape specialist, who has identified some of the deficiencies that currently exist, have put together maintenance recommendations that was submitted to the village, and I believe was also reviewed by Mr. Fleck, the landscape architect for the village. So with that said, again, we're asking that the village approve the reduction in the required maintenance bond, and if that were to occur, then it would be the intentions of Cole Taylor Bank through me as a consultant to oversee the completion of the remaining work, and of course in accordance with any village requirements. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Shannon, I have a question. Kim determined the figure only 2.5 months ago of $74,000, and now we're seeing a reduction request to $30,000. What is staff's opinion?
Staff is not opposed to the request for reduction. There's a formula used to calculate the amount based on the original engineer's estimate. And in reviewing the punch list of items that's yet to remain versus the amount of time that the subdivision has truly been in place, the items that we expect could occur are minor in nature, maybe a sidewalk square, a curb, something like that. So the $30,000 amount shouldn't set a precedent or put us in a difficult situation.
Steve, I should remember this, but Cole Taylor is now the owner of those undeveloped lots, or not?
They are not. They, through a chain of events that I'm not totally familiar with, John, that they were originally the mortgage holder, and they either transferred or sold their mortgage rights and note holder rights, but retain the letter of credit obligation. So the property is, I believe it's some type of equity firm that is now in title. And
was the property foreclosed?
The property was foreclosed. I mean, that was basically kind of the fallout of the unfortunate passing of Mr. McNaughton in late 2010, and the property was foreclosed and title's been transferred.
So I know I was part of some early meetings with Mr. Gregory to say, that, the village is in a tough spot. It wants the public improvements done. The owner's in a tough spot because it's foreclosed property. They don't want to spend more money than they have to. And I know initially they were talking to try and reach a consensus on spending what needs to be spent to get the public improvements done to benefit the village and the homeowners, the few that do live there. So just a little background.
And I would like to add, and Shannon touched on it, and the majority of the public improvements, that being the roadway improvements and underground utilities, have been completed in excess of 7 years. And under normal situation, normal circumstances, the maintenance bond is meant to provide security when, things progress rather quickly, the subdivision is built out, it goes in, all the final improvements are accepted by the village, and of course, the village wants some type of surety should some problems arise after the fact. Well, given the fact that this has all largely been completed for 7 years and there's been no sign of any that I would characterize significant issues other than some dead landscape material, I think that's yet again another reason that could hopefully support the request for the reduction of the maintenance bond.
Okay, any other questions?
Thank you, appreciate it.
For coming in. It's been a long time since we've
It has been.
had a chance to see you.
Wish it was under better circumstances, but it's nice to be here just the same. Thank you.
This next item involves the former site of Triple Crown Restaurant. Class 2 liquor license, used Mandarin Restaurant. Or to consider an ordinance increasing number of available Class 2 liquor licenses by 1 to accommodate a liquor license request from 5,000 Silver LLC DBA, used Mandarin Restaurant located at 665A Pasquinelli Drive here in the village.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight I have with me Pei Wu and Sean Hong. They are the owners of Used Mandarin, and like you said, it's at the site of the old Triple Crown. They have done a fantastic job of doing a rebuild, and I don't want to steal their thunder, so I'll let them talk about what is actually going into the restaurant. I can tell you that they do have a Used Mandarin restaurant in Schaumburg, which I personally visited, and the food was excellent. It was packed at 2:30 in the afternoon, so a very good crowd. They are tentatively scheduled to open in mid-July to late July. They've operated the Used Mandarin in Schaumburg since 2005. They're taking some of their staff and moving them from Schaumburg down to Westmont. They were the recipients of the Best Chinese Restaurant from the Daily Herald for 3 consecutive years, from 2009 to 2011. They have a fantastic website, which is userestaurant.com. That's YUS restaurant.com, where they have their menu and other notable features. They were also prominently reviewed by the Hungry Hound, Steve Dolinsky.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I got that right. In 2009, Sean was on TV. Nice news clip on the internet too, if you want to go see that. They pride themselves on their homemade noodles. Their request for the liquor license is a Class 2, so that is all liquor, beer, wine, and liquor. They will have a dedicated bar staffed by 1 bartender, but their business is obviously primarily a restaurant. So with that, I'll turn it over to Sean and Pei if they have anything to add.
Thank you, Jim.
You did a great job. I don't know what.
Sold.
Yes. I was thinking he should be the spokesman for the Used Mandarin.
Could be your marketing man,
No questions?
If we have no questions,
Coming to
some board members, it sounds like you've been very, very successful at your other location.
Great.
And, we wish you the same success
Thank you.
here in the village.
I hope we'll see you there when we open.
Oh,
we want to invite you there. I don't know
I do have a quick question, actually, too. You have a year to think about this, but maybe next year you'd like to join us in our Taste of Westmont and have a booth.
We just saw the sign.
We would love to have you. We allow only Westmont restaurants, so it'd be great for you to showcase your business. And the other thing is, I wondered if you'd had an opportunity to connect with Larry Forsberg from our Chamber of Commerce. I would urge you to speak to him. We have a very vibrant and healthy Chamber of Commerce, and I think you'd find a lot of benefit by being a member of that. And we're just so happy to have you in Westmont.
Okay, sounds
How did you choose Westmont?
The landlord found us.
Okay.
That plaza is used to be very famous in Chinese community, like back 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Now it's a little slowed down. but it's a good location. And as we first met James, we know the village, city, the Clark staff here, everybody is so make us feel we're welcome to join the Westmont here. That's a big, powerful incentive for us to come to Westmont. And I think with our experience with the concept we're having, we can provide good food, good service and quality to the Westmont residents along with some neighbor cities. Hopefully we can do business good and contribute them for the village.
Great.
Yeah, so that's how we.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to have you.
Wait to try those noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah, homemade.
All right, I'll be there.
We have a weekend noodle show, just a chef that make noodles by hand.
Oh.
You will see this restaurant, we're gonna have the open kitchen. You can see through our staff working there. You'll be a witness to see our cleanness, our how they working. So you'll feel, hopefully you'll feel safe to eat there. And it's our,
Hopefully.
you know, if behind the wall, sometimes you may,
Have you tried to go through, have you gone through the health department yet in DuPage? That's fun.
Yeah, I heard of this fun to work with them, but yeah, we know the rules and we know have no choice to follow the law, follow the rules, so I don't think we'll have problem with them.
Good to hear.
We'll all be there.
Yeah, we'll be eating there.
Thank you. Yeah, mine too.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in and
Thank you.
welcome to the village.
Good luck.
Next item, Class 15 liquor license, restricted to B1 district. Board to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Alcoholic Beverages, Article 2, Retail Licenses of the Village Code of Ordinances to restrict the issuance of a Class 15 liquor license to the B1 business district only.
Yes, and this is, I'll keep this short and succinct. This is a housekeeping clerical issue. We just want to be very, very clear in the ordinance that the Class 15 is restricted to the B1 zone. And the prior language is a little bit murky. This cleans it up and with no uncertain terms that it's only allowed in the B1. Questions?
Your verbiage is perfect.
It's Anne Marie's. Her verbiage is perfect.
This,
It's like 10 words.
this class came into effect with our boutique.
Correct. This was originally
wine bar
drafted for the.
that we used to have, and they served not only wine, but they served upscale bottled beer as well.
Correct. Right. It was originally crafted for the Divine Wine in the B1 zone. The original intent all along was to restrict it to B1. It was for wine and for handcrafted premium beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Any
Good.
questions?
Thanks for clarifying it, cleaning it up.
Thank you. Next item, utility taxes text amendment. Or to consider an ordinance approving a text amendment to the municipal code to allow the village board to designate the disposition of public utility taxes in the budget.
Good evening. This is also a clerical bookkeeping item. We're simply clarifying in the municipal code that the decisions the board makes in the budget with regards to how we plan to use these utility taxes will be followed. There's no change in village direction. It's the same thing that we've been doing for several years. It's just codifying the fact that the board can make that decision in the budget process, and we'll use the funds in whichever specific fund of the village that the board designates in the budget process.
Good.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you. No questions? Thank you. Moving right along, we do not have a request for an executive session this evening, and with that being said, unless there are some other further questions.
Earlier, I forgot to ask for an executive session on personnel.
Okay.
Before that motion, I thought you were going to probably announce this. There is a Finance and Administration Committee meeting
Monday.
on Monday
Monday
night.
at
Starting at
6 o'clock.
in the executive session conference room here.
Okay, we have a request before us for executive session regarding personnel. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second, Scott.
Second, Fleming.
No, Scott got it. You
Second?
didn't hear him.
Oh, okay.
I heard him first.
Roll call on the,
Trustee Emery?
Yes.
Trustee Klebanow?
Yes.
Trustee Scott?
Yes.
Trustee Fleming?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Seneca?
Yes.
okay, thank you. Now adjourn to executive session regarding personnel.